Hey, we're back. This is Striving Artist. I'm your host, Arlene. We are here at the Hive with MIKE Schlosser. We're going to just ask a couple more questions and we'll get into what you do best. I'm curious, you've got this huge career and you've got a lot of successes coming your way as well. How do you overcome obstacles?
Well, I think that's kind of the challenge for everybody. So I think it's just, trying to realize that this is frustrating or as exciting as it can be. It's not the whole world. I always say no one dies from a wrong note. So it doesn't, in the grand scheme of the world, it doesn't really matter that much, you know? So I try to focus a lot on things that you can control rather than things you can't.
Nice.
So, do I treat my wife well? Is my dog happy? Those kinds of things. Is it a sunny day? That kind of stuff matters to me a lot.
Right.
Because that's stuff that you can control. But if everybody's going to have challenges. Everybody's going to have setbacks, no matter what you do. If you're working, a 9-to-5 job in a call center, you're going to have hardships, there's no sure path, so you may as well have an unsure path that you enjoy a lot, that you love. Yeah.
I like that. It's always fun to talk to you because you really have a straightforward way of thinking. And it's like, oh yeah, there's nothing to worry about. Another question. I'm curious to find out if anyone's ever come up to you and say, hey, you've really inspired me, you've really changed my career path as an artist.
I definitely, often at the end of a record, I get the compliment that this is the album I've made that feels the most like me.
Nice.
Which is awesome. That's really what I'm going for. I want it to feel like the people who are making it, because the artist has to live it and breathe it and tour it, and they might not make another record for 2-3 years, so it has to matter. But I also recently, a girl that I'd worked with a bunch from Calgary, fantastic singer, this girl Jen Beaupre, she texted me and she was like, I'm sitting here with my vocal student, because she's a fantastic vocal coach, and she's like, and he randomly asked if I knew you and said that you taught him guitar when he was very young, and it changed his life, and that's the reason he's in music. And she was texting me as he's having this conversation, and I was like, that's amazing. Yeah, and I totally remembered who he was, and yeah.
That's so
that was
good.
amazing. So it's really nice when that stuff comes back,
I'm very excited of what we're about to do. You're going to take me through how you get from a raw vocal into a finished product.
Yeah.
And it's my song.
It is. It's a song that we did. Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, you came in with most of the song kind of together.
Yeah.
Which was just piano and a vocal. So we'll strip it back to that for now.
Okay.
And then I will show you a bit of what we did. This little piano thing. And then you were singing on top of it.
I fell in love with a bad, bad boy, but he stole my heart.
So the first thing that you want to do is fix the problems of the microphone with a thing called de-esser.
Okay.
Takes all your S's, your T's, your P's, all the things that pop through the microphone.
Nice.
And just pulls them back.
Cool.
Yeah.
I fell in love with a bad, bad boy.
So you get that going.
He stole my heart.
Just a little bit, some compression.
I begged and pleaded to give it back.
Just a little bit of
EQ.
EQ.
Broken apart. Now every tear that I'm crying,
Just sweetening things up.
like his
Make me sound
kisses
great.
on my
And then the
face.
money.
When his name is on my lips.
The money meaning reverb.
Yeah,
Right?
I wear the shirt all the time. It says 1% talent, and I always joke that the other 99% is reverb. So yeah, reverbs, and then I'll show you here too the delay that's on it.
I fell in love with a bad, bad boy, but he
So,
stole my heart.
Just making things have a space to
I begged and
live.
pleaded to give it back. He gave it to me broken apart.
So everything has, you know, there's layers. So the vocals here, but then there's like things here, and then there's stuff there. Just making it take up as much space as possible in the song, right? And then this is also after we've coached through all the singing, all those kinds of things.
Right.
And then, sorry.
Oh, it's just incredible what you could do with just that raw vocal and have it as if that sound is hugging you. Like it's this invisible thing.
You want to give it a place to live, right? You want to put it in a room.
Right.
I always say songs should live in a room.
Cool.
And so you want to choose sounds, you want to choose performances, you want to choose everything that lives in that room.
Nice.
Well, I always say that I can do this really quickly now because I've made the wrong choice so many times that I know what it looks like early on.
Right. Okay, cool.
But that's why, you know, like I said earlier, like the best thing is just to do stuff and finish it and put it out.
Right.
Because you don't really know what you've done until you release it. So, so if you're making a song, you know, if you like the sound of a kick drum and a snare, that's awesome. That's it. You know, you can change your mind about it in 3 months or 5 minutes, but at the moment, just do whatever sounds good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that's the key, because then you're also going to really enjoy it.
Right.
You know, so if you have a song, like I started off being like, I really like that song, I should write something like it. And trying to write like my own version of songs so that I wasn't copying them, but I was just, you know, in the same lane as those things. And I did the same thing with production, you know, where I'd listen to a song like 100 times and try and pick out every little element of a song, and then be like, oh, I can recreate that reverb, or I can make a snare sound like that, or, you know, trying to pull those little pieces of things that you hear that you like and put them together in something your own.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then when you're finished, like, how do you know when you're done?
Well, there's this great saying that's like, art's never finished, it's abandoned.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that.
Yeah. I feel like that's the difference between being an amateur and being a professional.
Right.
Is knowing when something's done.
Okay.
Knowing when the edges are polished enough without losing what's there.
Right.
And I think you constantly struggle with that as an artist. You know, it's taking things, it's easy to know when it's too far. And it's not always easy to know when it's not far enough.
Right.
So I think, I personally feel like when I have a very clear, I always call it an emotional compass of a song.
Okay.
I know how I want it to feel. I know how I want it to impact. You know, I know how I want to move. And if I'm not doing those things, then it's not done yet.
Oh, okay.
And if it is doing those things, then it's probably done.
Nice.
And it's especially done if you play it for somebody else and you still are doing those things.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good test, playing it for other people.
Yeah. I'm curious, what were those for this song? Like, what was the feeling you were going to get for this one?
So for this one, I felt like it was kind of like such a moody, sultry kind of thing in the verses with just the vocal and the piano that you played. You came in and played just that for me. And so it was like, it felt like kind of like you're moody and like in like a smoky kind of lounge.
Okay.
And I wanted to capture that, so I did drums that I felt. Right?
Yeah.
That helps. That helps push it along. And so that's kind of what I was looking for, is just that feeling. But it's all that feeling from that initial like vocal and piano. I didn't want to lose that feeling that it could everything that's in there. There's strings and, you know, percussion and all of these layers of guitars and some synth stuff. But I never wanted to lose the feeling like it was just you in a room at a piano with like 4 angry old men sitting at a bar with a martini or something, you know? Like,
amazing!
And I think that if you have that clear vision of what you want, it's easy to know when you've lost it. And then you should go back a step and stop.
That's another gold nugget.
Oh.
everything. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank
Mike.
you.
You guys make sure you check him out, follow him on Instagram. We'll have all that stuff. LittleNoiseRecords.com.
Yeah.
He's also got his own Instagram as well. And follow us on Facebook, Filipino TV. Follow me on Instagram and all that stuff. Check out this song that Mike produced. He also mixed most of my record as well, if you want to check that on Spotify. And we'll see you next week for another Striving Artist.